Downtown was straight ahead. Woolman's was on the right. He could just see it, a squat and ugly building hiding behind a false front. Tension filled Garrity's veins, stuffed them full of copper wire. He could hear his heart thudding, now in his guts, now in his throat, now right between the eyes. 200 yards. They were screaming his name again. Ray, Ray, all the way! But he had not seen a familiar face in the crowd yet. He drifted over to the right until the clutching hands of crowd were inches from him. Only a few 100 yards to go now. He could see the big brown woman sign, but no sign of his mother or of Jan. God, oh God, God, Stebbins had been right. Even if they were here, how was he going to see them in this shifting, clutching mass? He stumbled and almost fell over his own loose legs. Stebbins had been right. He wanted to stop here, to not go any further. The disappointment, the sense of loss was so staggering it was hollow. What was the point? What was the point now? I can't go on. Can't. But his feet stumbled on. Where am I? Jan! 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 He saw her. She was waving the blue scarf he had gotten her for her birthday, and the rain shimmered in her hair like gems. His mother was beside her, wearing her plain black coat. A great sore somewhere in his body seemed to burst. The infection ran out of him in a green flood. He burst into a shambling pigeon-toed run. His ripped socks flapped and slapped his swollen feet. Jan! Jan! An arm brought him up short. It was McVree's. A soldier speaking through a sexless bullhorn was giving them both first warning. Not into the crowd! McVree's lips were against Garrity's ear and he was shouting. A lancet of pain pierced into Garrity's head. Let me go! I won't let you kill yourself, Ray! Let me go, goddammit! Do you want to die in her arms? Is that it? The time was fleeting. She was crying. He could see the tears on her cheeks. He wrenched free of McVree's. He started for her again. He felt hard, angry sobs coming up from inside him. He wanted sleep. He would find it in her arms. He loved her. Ray, I love you. He could see the words on her lips. Second warning blared from the loudhailer like the voice of God. Jan! She was reaching out to him, hands touching, her cool hand, her tears. His mother, her hands reaching. He grasped them. In one hand he held Jan's hand, in the other his mother's hand. He touched them. It was done. It was done until McVree's arm came down around his shoulder again. Cruel McVree's. Let me go! Let me go! Man, you must really hate her! McVree screamed in his ear. What do you want? To die knowing they're both stinking with your blood? Is that what you want? For Christ's sake, come on! He struggled, but McVree's was strong. Maybe McVree's was even right. He looked at Jan, and now her eyes were wide with alarm. His mother made shooing gestures, and on Jan's lips he could read the words like a damnation. Go on! Go on! Of course I must go on, he thought dully. I am Maine's own. And in that second, he hated her. Third warning for him and McVree's. Now there was panic written on the faces of Jan and his mother. His mother's hands flew to her face. If you've got to do it around the next corner, you cheap shit, McVree's cried. He began to whimper. McVree's had beaten him again. McVree's was very strong. All right, he said, not knowing if McVree's could hear him or not. He began to walk. All right, let me loose before you break my collarbone. He sobbed, hiccuped, and wiped his nose. McVree's let go of him wearily, ready to grab him again. Almost as an afterthought, Gary turned around and looked back, but they were already lost in the crowd again. He thought he would never forget that look of panic rising in their eyes. That feeling of trust and sureness finally kicked brutally away. He got nothing but half a glimpse of a waving blue scarf. He turned around and faced forward again, not looking at McVree's, and his stumbling, traitorous feet carried him on, and they walked out of town.